Welcome back to RTL Studio One, where you get to reflect, transform your teaching and learning practices, and then lead with a vision. So, let's look at our session number two. And before we move on, we'll reflect on what we did in our session number one. So, we talked about why forming foundations is very important because it sets the emotional climate of the classroom where the children feel safe and valued and respected. So if the teachers create a classroom where the children feel safe, where they can express their opinion, they can share their ideas without the fear of being judged, and where their opinions, where their thoughts, where their effort is valued and they're respected, not just by their peers, by their teachers as well. So, in such a classroom, in such an environment, the children develop readiness for learning, they become more meaningfully engaged, and they tend to grow as individuals who who are leaders within them, who are leaders by behavior, not by title. And we connected all of this idea of forming foundations. It is connected very much with a very well-known theory about that was about by given by Abraham Maslow. And Maslow talks about um, the human needs, the hierarchy of human needs, and he says that if the basic needs of a child are not met, you cannot expect them to grow and to be in this higher stage of self actualization, where people find their purpose in their life, where the people live with a purpose in their life. They add more meaning, more value, not just to their own lives, but also to the lives of people around them, where they tend to live with this notion that we rise by lifting others. So, this was a thinking question that I left you with. I asked you to put down all the levels of Maslow's hierarchy and then think about two or three practices that maybe you use currently, or maybe you try that you plan to implement in future. So let's look at a few strategies that I've already for you. And talking about these strategies, it is not important that you do one thing at a time. These can be done simultaneously. All of these can be addressed simultaneously. So let's look at the first level. The first level was about the physiological needs. And when we talk about physiological needs, then the teacher must be mindful of comfortable seating, the lighting in the classroom, whether the children have access to water, and whether they're given break, not just the break, the lunch break. I'm talking also about the mind breaks that should be given in between different lessons. We need to be very mindful of how the children are sitting in the classroom, what kind of seating arrangement, and then when I'm doing that seating arrangement, am I keeping the temperament and the personality of the children in my mind? Am I catering to the needs of any medical concerns that need to be taken care of? Maybe if a child has a poor eyesight, where am I placing the child? What about the lighting in my classroom? Am I taking care of the lighting as well? Is my class airy enough or not? So all of that, is it colorful enough or not? Is it pleasing to the eye or not? All of that comes under the physiological needs and the safety needs. Do I establish clear routines in the beginning? Do I and my students work together and set up a norm for our classroom? Maybe set up an agreement for our classroom that this is what we are going to follow and this is what we are going to um, make sure that each one of us is mindful of. Like we are going to take care of our belongings. We're not going to litter in our classroom. We are going to pile up our things carefully, and then we are going to hand in our homeworks ourselves. Things like that. Then what about the schedule? Do I tell them what is the schedule of the day? Do I talk to them? What are we going to do? How is the day going to go about? And then what kind of tone do I have? Actually, the tone of the teacher matters and makes a difference. If the teacher taunts the children, if she's loud at the children, if she screams and shouts, and that would you would find the class to be disciplined, but they'll be disciplined out of fear. So, what do I think? What should be my strategy? Do I want to impose the discipline, or do I want my students to become self-disciplined? So, what tone do I carry in my classroom? Then, belonging needs. It is very important that the teacher learns the names of the students right in the beginning, and then she calls them by their names, by their specific names, instead of calling them you look here. That is very rude. And then when they sit down with their partner, what do I think that I need to assign roles so that everybody knows what work they have to do? So, what kind of partner work will they be doing? Do I put my mind into that? And then the work that and the students do I ever display that? When a teacher displays their students' work, it develops a sense of appreciation in the child. It gives a lot of immense appreciation to the child, and they feel valued. They feel that their work is there as a sample for others to see. So it gives them that sense of pride as well, and makes them confident also, and makes them do next time. It develops that willingness to do and to show. And then esteem needs. We talked about that all of this adds on to the esteem needs of a child. What kind of praise am I giving in my classroom? Am I developing leadership skills in my, not leadership by title, leadership by behavior? Am I developing those skills in the children? Am I encouraging them to pack their bags at home on their own? Am I encouraging them to ensure that they've packed their bags before leaving the classroom and they've picked up all their belongings and kept everything in their bag? Am I developing responsibility in them that they do their homeworks on their own? They manage to finish their classwork on their own. Am I developing that responsibility in them? Or am I making any in charges in the classroom, leaders in the classroom, and am I assigning them any responsibilities, any roles in the classroom? And then, how do I celebrate the effort? For example, if a child is able to read, you've taught them to read by blending sounds. So, if a child is able to apply that learning, so how do you celebrate that effort? And celebrating effort actually brings about the change that you want. Actually, it develops that desire to learn and to grow. And then this all leads to self actualization. So, do I offer choice to my children? Do I ever give them the freedom to express themselves in the way they want to? And that comes under differentiation also. Do I give them the opportunity to express themselves in different ways? Maybe if they wish to draw, maybe if they wish to write a poetry, maybe if they wish to put down only words, maybe if they want to put in sentences. So how do I give them this opportunity? And then how do I encourage problem solving in my students? What are my ways to encourage all of that? So, all of this, see, will definitely, if the teacher looks into all these elements of the hierarchy of needs proposed by Abraham Maslow, it is definite that the child will definitely become a well-rounded personality. Okay, so when we ensure that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is translated into my classroom, into our classrooms, what do we get out of it? So students feel that it is their classroom. This is our classroom. This is what they feel proud of telling. And they love to show it to their parents also, that this is our classroom. It increases engagement and accountability in the students. The classroom becomes, the noise in the classroom becomes healthy and meaningful. That buzzing sound in the classroom is actually children at work, and hands at work and minds at work. And then students feel intrinsically motivated. They don't look forward to getting a candy or a star or a happy face all the time. They feel intrinsically motivated. They want to do and improve. And then they develop a sense of responsibility of as well. And then this sense of responsibility is not just about their behavior, it is about their work also. So, with this, we come to another thinking question. Which level of Maslow's hierarchy is most challenging to address in your current classroom? And what's one concrete step you can take to support students at that level? I'm sure this is quite challenging and will and requires you to think critically and reflect, and that is why RTL, Reflect, Transform, and Lead Studio is there for you. So, this brings us to the end of session 2. Thank you very much for joining again. Keep reflecting, transforming, and leading yourself and others around you. Please do subscribe and share in the comments whatever your understanding and your thoughts are, um, so that it helps others also to learn. So let's keep doing the good that we are trained to do. Thank you very much.